Page number 47, Unit 4, Trafficking of Women and Children and Cybercrime. Unit Structure 4.1, Objectives 4.2, Introduction 4.3, Definition of Women Trafficking 4.3.1, Signs of Women Trafficking 4.3.2, Causes of Women Trafficking 4.3.3, Types of Women Trafficking 4.3.4, Prevention of Women Trafficking 4.3.5, Laws against women trafficking in India 4.4, Cybercrime 4.4.1, Causes 4.4.2, Classification 4.4.3, Types 4.4.4, Prevention 4.5, Phrase Summary 4.6, Questions 4.7, References 4.1, Objectives to understand the meaning and causes of women trafficking and cybercrime, to help you both have suggest measures in order to prevent such criminal activities. 4.2, Introduction. In the previous unit, we have studied about crime and its theories. Now let's look at the two of the important types of crime. In the first part of this unit, we will study about women trafficking, whereas in the second part we will study about cybercrime. Both women trafficking and cybercrime have increased tremendously in the past few decades and has caused continuous threat and exploitation of human life. Now let's understand their meaning, types in detail, and also the measures which can help us to control such crimes. 4.3, Meaning and Definition. Before going on to the definition, let's take a look at the following case in order to have a better understanding of women trafficking. When I was 15, a woman who initially helped me sent me abroad. On the first day, a man came, raped me and beat me. I was terrified. He forced me to have sex with lots of different men he brought to the house. It was horrible. Lena from India, name changed. Women trafficking is a heinous crime which not only affects the victim, their families, but the entire society. Cases of women and children being kidnapped and sold to other parts of the country or to the other countries are continuously increasing. It has become a sensitive and a terrible issue in the entire world. United Nations has defined human trafficking as the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, and receipt of persons by means of their threats or use of the force or other forms of coercion, of abduction, of fraud, and of deception, of the abuse of power, or of a position of vulnerability, or of the giving or receiving of the payments or benefits to achieve the consent of a person having control over another person for a purpose of exploitation. Exploitation shall include at a minimum the exploitation of the prostitution of others or the other forms of sexual exploitation, forced labor of services, slavery or practicals similar to slavery, servitude, or the removal of organs, or Article 3, Paragraph A of the Protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons. The above definition seems to be a lengthy. Let's break it into the. We can clearly note that the above definition explains human trafficking by dividing it into three elements, which are the act. This element involves the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons. That means the above act is carried out by the means of threats, force, coercion, abduction, fraud, deception, abuse of power, vulnerability, giving or receiving payments or benefits. The sole purpose of human trafficking, like any other crime, is the exploitation, which further includes prostitution, forced labor, slavery, servitude, or removal of organs. The victims of human trafficking often come from the countries who face of poverty, gender inequality, lack of education, lack of jobs, instability. These victims often fall prey to the fake offers given to them by the traffickers. These offers include job opportunities, better lifestyles, but in reality they are pushed into the jobs of prostitution, smuggling, slavery, or their body parts are removed and smuggled in the international market. The above elements can be summed up as the act plus the means plus the purpose equals human trafficking. 4.3.1 Sign of human trafficking. So, if we come across the person who displays the following signs, there are high chances of him or her being a victim of human trafficking. Controlled movements, fake identity, tendency to hide their address, no access to your rings, work excessively, no social or interaction, think they are abandoned or dead. Constant fear is displayed on their face. However, even after the victim is rescued, they take time to come back to the normal lives as they face a lot of trauma and still display signs of fear or even aggression. Check your progress. Definition of human trafficking is divided into which the three elements and what does each element include. 4.3.2 Causes of human trafficking. We often think about the causes that lead to human trafficking. Despite the growing population, growing security, how do people become victims of trafficking? Let's look at some of the causes which have played a major role in the spread of human trafficking. Poverty. With the growing population of scarcity of resources, many countries are facing acute poverty. People staying in miserable conditions get food with offers of jobs, better lifestyles in another country. Many parents also send their children with their relatives who sadly have contacts with their traffickers, also create risk. For wars often lead to displacement of people, it increases the number of widows, orphans, street children who are at the risk of becoming victims as their families are no longer allowed to protect them. Such women and children are either forced into prostitution, begging or bonded labor, and are even transported to other places forcefully. Status of women. In many societies, women are devalued, looked down upon, often seen as an object of lust and sex. They are kidnapped or lured with job opportunities and pushed into the forced prostitution. Example, traffickers use the technique of fooling girls by giving them fake offers to work in films and later kidnap and sell them in the markets of another countries or states where they are exploited as prostitutes. Ignorance on the Ignorance on the part of victims and their families by blindly trusting other unknowns, believing in fake efforts, lack of knowledge about the policies of recruitment in other states or countries have contributed to tremendous increase in the cases of human trafficking. Check your progress. What signs will you look for while describing someone as a victim of human trafficking? 4.3.3 Types of Trafficking. Human trafficking is a crime that can occur in any part of the world. Today, human trafficking has taken many forms, some of which are sex trafficking. Official figures state that more than 3 million prostitutes are seen in India. Women and children are lured, kidnapped, forced into prostitution, and are sold into markets to gain higher profits. Sex trafficking therefore forces the victims to unwillingly work as prostitutes in brothels, pole dancing, strip clubs, pornographic movies, sex tourism, etc. Labor exploitation. This refers to a situation where the victims are expected to work for very little or no remuneration. Under the threat of punishment, a victim is coerced by the use of violence, blackmailing, retention of identity, proof, threats of family members, etc. For example, young children are often kidnapped and sold in other parts of the country and are forced to beg on traffic signals. The money earned through the begging is taken away by their masters. Forced criminality. This is a situation where the victim is forced to undertake criminal activities like supplying drugs, bag snatching, chain snatching, pickpocketing, kidnapping, murder, etc. Young children can easily fall prey to such activities. Most of the times there is a high possibility of the victims being brainwashed and pushed into terrorism. Many terrorist camps often recruit trafficked victims and use them to fulfill their terrorist motives. Organ harvesting. Organ harvesting involves removing an organ of the body, especially kidneys, liver, and selling them illegally in the market to earn huge profits. A person may be found to have a particular disease for which he is required to be admitted in the hospital. The organs are removed without even the knowledge or consent of the victim in the guise of treatment. Thus, trafficking occurs at the individual or at the group level, where not only a number of women and children, but also men are illegally transported. They are fooled and lured. Once they arrive in the country, their passport and other documents are forcefully taken away by the traffickers. 4.3.4 Prevention of Human Trafficking. What are the ways that can help us to protect ourselves and our families, friends from such a enormous crime? Lack of awareness and access to protection justice make people easily fall prey to such crimes. In order to prevent such crimes, certain steps can be taken. Promote education amongst the society. Strengthen individual skills and knowledge among the locals. Framing policies which help to combat such crimes, fostering positive feelings among neighbors who can unite themselves and help each other in need. Implementing policies that provide proper using proper wages, healthcare at the members of society so that they become self-sufficient and do not fall prey to such crimes. Youth programs should be undertaken so that they can themselves respond to the signs of exploitation and reach out to seek help or provide help to the victims. 4.3.5 Laws against human trafficking in India. Human trafficking is prohibited by the Constitution of India under the Article 23(1). The Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956 (ITPA) work against the commercial sexual exploitation. Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013 has come into force, wherein Section 370 of Indian Penal Code has been substituted with Section 370 and 370A, which provides measures to counter trafficking. Protection of Children from Sexual Offences (POSCO Act 2012) protects the children from sexual abuse and exploitation. Other provisions like Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, Bond Labour System Abolition Act 1976, Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986, Transplantation of Human Organs Act 1994, Sections 372 and 373 dealing with selling and buying of girls for the purpose of prostitution are also undertaken to fight human trafficking. Therefore, in order to fight such crimes, it is necessary to be aware and alert about the possibilities of such occurring. Check your progress. 1. What precautions will you take for yourself and for your family or friends against human trafficking? 2. What will you do if you come across someone who is a victim of human trafficking? Will you ignore the incident or try to seek the help of others? 4.4 Cybercrime. With the advent of globalization and the advancement in technology, the entire world has not only seen an increase in communication, but also it has witnessed increasing in crime rates. On one hand, information technology makes it easy and communicate, and on the other hand, it makes us fall prey to criminal activities. Before a decade ago, if someone from your family or your close friends shifted to some other country, it would not be possible to have face-to-face interaction. But thanks to cyber system, we can have face-to-face interaction regularly through video chats, no matter in whichever part of the world the person is. But just as everything has some negative sides, the increasing use of computer technology brought with itself an entire range of criminal activities about which many people are unaware. In order to understand cybercrime, let us divide the concept into two parts, where the term cyber means relating to computers and crime means the violation of the law. Therefore, cybercrime in simple terms means the use of computers or information technology to commit a wide range of crimes from the online identity theft, hacking, files gambling to cyber sex, stalking, or even terrorism. Cybercrime is thus an attack launched through a computer targeting one or many other computers. According to the International Journal of Emerging Trends and Technology in Computer Science, the IT, ITTICS, cybercrime may be defined as unlawful acts wherein the computer is either a tool or a target or both. Criminals who perform these illegal activities are cybercriminals or hackers. Cause of 4.4.1 Causes of cybercrime. Cybercriminals always look for easy ways to make money, having extensive knowledge of computers and information technology but using it incorrectly to earn money give rise to cybercrime. Earlier, cybercriminals targeted rich organizations like banks and financial firms wherein rich amount of money flows every day. However, today even a common man becomes a victim with no time. Have you come across people who lost their entire bank balance in no time just because of clicking wrong option or submitting personal details? The following reasons have made it easier for cybercriminals to find out a new ways of crime, easy to access, hard to earn quick money. Difficulty in indefinite identification of criminals, lack of reporting in the part of victims. Check your progress. What is cybercrime? How is it different from other crimes? 4.4.2 Classification of cybercrime. Cybercrime has taken many forms and is continuously expanding today. Broadly, we can classify them into four categories. 1. Crime against individuals, harassing someone by use of emails, malicious codes, posting, phishing, credit or card fraud, pornography, sex acts, cyber defamation, which targets an individual. 2. Crime against property. These include intellectual property crimes, salami attacks, computer vandalism, etc. These are prevalent in the financial institution. 3. Crime against organization. Hacking the official site of the organization comes under this category. The hacker cracks into the website that is maintained confidentially by the organization like military or government organizations. Every system in the world faces the insecurity of hacking. 4. Crime against society. Polluting the minds of the youth, financial crimes, sale of illegal articles, net extortion, webjacking, data drilling are some of the crimes falling in this category. Forged currency notes, forged mark sheets can be made using high-quality printers and scanners. Webjacking hackers gain access and control over the website of another and can even change the content of the website. 4.4.3 Types of Cybercrime. While classifying cybercrime, we came across many new concepts. Now let's briefly examine some of the types of cybercrime. 1. Tax refund fraud. The thieves use stolen, personally identifiable information to file victims' tax returns and receive their refunds. For example, an employee who has filed her income tax returns, but she gets a notice saying more than one tax return for you was filed. After she spoke to the concerned department, she realized that she was the victim of identity theft tax refund scam. 2. Identity theft. Identity theft occurs when a cyber criminal successfully steals personal identity information of the victim. Identity thefts are usually committed to gain financial rewards. The thief uses the identity of the victim for using credit cards, debit cards, purchasing goods and services, obtaining the employment, etc. Cyberstalking. 3. Cyberstalking. Unlike the stalkers who follow you on roads or other places, cyberstalkers use internet to stalk. This is the kind of online harassment wherein the victim messages, emails, and other online activities are kept under watch. However, when online stalking does not bring about desired results, it is accompanied with offline stalking, which make the matter worse. 4. Malicious software. These are software programs which disrupt the network system. These softwares provide sensitive information or data and disrupt the other softwares present in the system. 5. Phishing. Phishing is an attempt to obtain sensitive information such as usernames, password, credit or debit card details by winning the trust of the victim as legal trustworthy sites. Phishing is done through the sending emails, phone calls, SMS within an ongoing sessions. Have you come across messages which claim the reward of $1 lakh million? The main aim of phishing is to get personal information. Any messages which try to get personal details can be an act of phishing. 6. Cyber defamation. With the growing connection of people through social networking sites, cyber defamation has become one of the most common crimes. A person sitting in one country can easily damage the reputation of someone in another corner of the world within a few minutes. Thus, defaming some by the use of internet is called cyber defamation. Example: a competitor of a well-known country may hack the website of the target company and provide a misleading information. Cyber defamation uses mediums like websites, emails, discussion forums, and most commonly social networking sites. 7. Hacking. Hacking is one of the most common type of cybercrime, wherein the person cracks the access in someone else's computer system. Hacking uses personal information of others in order to gain control over the systems for their own personal reasons in order to cause damage to others. 8. Piracy. Piracy is the illegal copying and distributing programs, movies, music without permission. The movie and music industries are the main targets and have fought against the misuse of intellectual property. Example: many times an upcoming movie goes on viral internet e- even before its release. Salami attacks. Rather than illegally withdrawing huge amounts of money, these attackers deduct small amounts over a period of time, and at one point it will result in withdrawing of a huge amount which can empty your entire account. Example: today we have a lot of cash in online wallets. In case of if a small amount gets deducted from our wallet, we may often ignore such acts, but suddenly entire wallet turns out to be empty. Such acts are salami attacks. 10. Cyber squatting. Cyber squatting refers to illegal domain or name for registration or use. It uses the domain name in order to make huge profits by selling their products or making people visit their websites which otherwise wouldn't be possible. Copyright holders may be neglect to register their domain names, which helps the cyber squatters to easily steal their names. The cybercrime being global in nature, it can be committed from any place against any person in any part of the world. However, the measures have been taken in order to bring down the rates of cybercrimes, but sadly, cybercriminals explore many other ways to reach their goals. Check your progress. 1. If you come across a message saying government is distributing free laptops to get the same forward the message to 5 WhatsApp groups, then click on the link below. Will you forward that message and click on the link? 4.4.4 Prevention of Cybercrime. Many precautions should be taken by the computer users in order to safeguard themselves from cybercrime. Computer users must use a firewall protection in order to protect their computer from hacking. Some computers have inbuilt firewalls, whereas for others, one has to purchase the software. Antivirus software should be purchased in order to have virus protection. Example: McAfee, Norton Antivirus, AVG. Online shopping should only be done from trusted sites which are secure. Credit or debit card details should never be provided on sites which do not have version seal or those without trustage. Using strong passwords and continuously updating them, changing login details also help to protect our accounts from becoming victims. Checking the security and social networking sites is also extremely important to control what information we share online. Avoid accepting requests from unknown profiles as most of them are fake profiles. Settings of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram should always be set to private. Mobile devices should be kept secure using PIN codes, finger locks, and face locks. One should never take a risk of storing bank passwords, PIN numbers, or even own address in their mobiles. We often get attracted to free Wi-Fi or phone networks, but often these are insecure. Financial transactions should never be performed using these networks. One should think twice before clicking on a link or a file which has unknown origin. Never reply to emails that ask them to verify information or confirm their user's ID password. One must have a rational approach and never respond to such messages, texts, or phone calls which claim attractive rewards. Also, personal information should never be provided on insecure sites or through SMS. Example: a lady received a call from a fraud who claimed himself as a bank executive. He convinced her that if she doesn't verify her details, her account will be blocked and she will lose all her money. Out of the fear, the lady immediately provided all her details, and within a second, her account balance was zero. Whenever we receive such calls, we must make sure that all our details should only be verified in the branch of the bank and not on phone calls by emails. Phone calls or by emails. Worldwide police, intelligence departments, governments began to react against cybercrime. Cyber cells have been started across the country, which has helped in solving many cases of cybercrime. These are various laws which deal with cybercrimes in India. One such act is the Information Technology Amendment Act 2008, which includes many sections that deal with cybercrime. One should note that through computer technology has reached our lives in many ways. Ignorance and negligence on the part of users can lead to severe loss and help the criminals to gain the huge profits by the malpractices. Check your progress. 1. Yeah, as a user, what precautions have you taken in your smartphone or laptops to protect yourself from becoming victim of cybercrime? 2. Can we say that the cybercrime can also be used as a medium to increase human trafficking? Give reasons for your answers. 4.5 Summary: Human trafficking and cybercrime cause a huge threat to the well-being of the society. Cybercrime can also be used as a medium to support human trafficking. Human trafficking is a heinous crime affecting not only the victims but the entire society. Human trafficking involves illegal transportation of human beings and their exploitation through various means. Human trafficking is not only accompanied with mental and physical torture, but also sexual abuse and illegal organ transplantation. It has taken many forms of sex trafficking, bonded labor, forced criminality. Human trafficking is prohibited by the Constitution of India under the Article 23 on Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences POSCO Act 2012, Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006, Bonded Labor Systems Abolition Act 1976, Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986, Transplantation of Human Organs Act 1994, Sections 372 and 373 dealing with selling and buying of girls for the purpose of prostitution are few legal laws against women trafficking. Cybercrime is a crime where a computer is either a tool or a target of both. It means use of computer and information technology to commit a wide range of crimes. Cybercrime can target not only on an individual and his property, but the entire organization and society can become the victims of the criminal activity. A number of measures can be adopted on the part of users, which include using antivirus applications, firewall protection, strong passwords, etc. The Information Technology Amendment Act 2008 includes many sections that deal with cybercrime. In order to combat any crime, whether it is human trafficking or cybercrime or any other forms of crime, awareness on the part of the citizens, strict laws and immediate action by the law machinery is extremely important. 4.6 questions. 1. Define human trafficking. Explain its different types. 2. What are the causes of human trafficking? What are the laws that deal with human trafficking? 3. Define cybercrime and explain its various types. 4. What is cybercrime? Explain its causes and measures that can be taken to fight cybercrime. 4.7 References. 1. www.crossdomainsolutions.com 2. www.britannica.com 3. https www.antislavery.org Slavery Today / human trafficking 4. https www.unodc.org what is human trafficking.html 5. https www.dhs.gov/blue campaign / what human trafficking 6. https://sfhrc.org / what woman trafficking 7. https://www.stopthetraffic.org about woman trafficking or types of exploitation https://www.financialexpress.com/India news /crime in India rise in 2018